As a web designer, I'm always busy with client work, building websites in Framer, landing pages, redesigns, even portfolios. It requires a lot of focus, brainstorming, and most importantly, it takes time. So, for maximum productivity, I needed a workflow, and I created this workflow that I've been using for a while now. After initial discovery, I sketch out my ideas, then I do design iterations in Figma, and once I'm happy, I migrate everything into Framer. This is the exact workflow almost everybody uses, but it had some major problems. For example, here is a design I made in Figma. Now to take it to Framer, there is a Framer plugin called Figma to HTML with Framer. You can copy the design and go into Framer and paste it in. But see, it migrated the design into Framer, but things are not looking quite right. For example, this project section is broken. In Figma design, it looked something like this. And look at this card grid in Figma. This is how it shows in Framer. To fix this, I will have to manually change the properties of frames to match it to Figma design. I will have to manually adjust heights, widths, and do whole lot of rework. Again, for this grid here, Framer does not even recognize Figma grid. So you will have to manually override the layout to grid and change the properties like column span and align things again to match it to your original design. So you can imagine that there's a lot of rework being done here, and this is just one page. Another big problem is local styles. See, in Framer, if I select this text, it is giving a fixed color value and a fixed font size. Same applies for all other elements, it's giving fixed values. But in Figma, if I scroll up and select the same text, it is using local styles. Local styles, as you probably know, are really helpful to keep everything consistent. But now in Framer, I would have to recreate every color style and text style and map every element to these new styles. This amount of rework is absolutely crazy. There had to be a better way. Well, for a long time, there wasn't. But last year, Framer introduced design pages and it changed the whole game. I'm gonna be honest. In the start, I was skeptical because I love Figma, it's a great product. But after trying out design pages, I can safely say for web design projects, I'm gonna stick with Framer. It's easy to use, you can see live previews and convert into a real web page with a single click. My workflow has become so much efficient after this. Now, it's important to mention that this video is sponsored by Framer, but whatever I say in this video is my honest opinion. So here's what my new workflow looks like in a real world scenario. I want to design a hero section of a real estate website. So to visualize my designs, I can go into Framer and add a new design page right from here. Let's call this homepage design. It's a free-form canvas area that works exactly like normal web page design in Framer. So let's draw a frame and change its width. It works quite similar to Figma design, so the learning curve is very minimal. I've already created some elements to add to my hero section just to save some time. I'm gonna paste them in here. Now I can drag this navbar component into frame just like this. I want this to be a vertical stack, so let's select this frame and convert into a stack like so. And let's give it some padding and maybe some cap. Now when I drag this image in our frame, it automatically stacks below the navbar, nice and easy. Next, let's cut this content section and try to place it inside this image frame. And yes, this image is basically just a normal frame with a vertical stack layout. I have just added the fill as the image right from here. This allows me to paste the content inside this frame just like so. And if you're wondering how did it place itself at the bottom, that's because our image frame is set to align at bottom right from here. Now to make things responsive, I'm gonna set the width of all of these elements to fill the container. If you are confused about layouts, fill, and fit content properties, I highly recommend checking out my free Framer course on my YouTube channel. Link is in the description. Alright, you can see that how easily we created a concept design for our hero section of our home page. By the way, some of these elements like this button here is a Framer component that I created earlier, which means I can reuse them and change the variant to try out different looks. And if I wanted to change the button design, I can double click on it and edit the main component. You can see we have two variants of this button, a normal button and a rounded button, and each have a hover effect added to it. And this is one of the greatest things about working directly in Framer. You can preview each frame just like this and also see the interactions like this hover interaction on this button in real time. This is so useful when you are working on ideas and concepts and want to try out different interactions before the real deal. Now, let's say that I want to present multiple concepts to a client. I can just duplicate this frame and modify it. For example, in this one, I can try to align everything in the middle. It's really simple. Let's just center align this frame right from here and make sure to center align the text as well. Let's also move this action card in this stack. This action card is also a component I created earlier and it has another variant, so let's switch it to that variant. Now let's wrap both of them in a horizontal stack like so. Looking great. Now all we have to do is center everything in the middle vertically just like so. And there you go. You have another concept ready to send to the client. And yes, you can share this concept with the client through a link. Now, these both are looking great, but let's try another iteration just to show you how easy it is to work in Framer. Let's duplicate it, and this time around, I'm gonna remove the layout from this parent frame. This will allow me to move things freely in the frame. Let's put this content outside for a moment and remove these empty frames. I want the content to be left aligned in this one, so let's do that just like this and place them right here. Now the text color is white, so we can't see that. Let's select both of them and change the color, and this is where Framer shines. I have already created local color styles and text styles which I can directly apply from here, and I won't have to recreate these styles like I did in my previous workflow. So let's give it text primary color style. Now let's move this action card out. I want to stack these three together. So to do that, let's go into the layers. We don't need this stack anymore. So let's move the button outside and delete this stack and select all of these three elements and press Shift A to stack them together. This is a nice little shortcut to add layout, Shift plus A. Align everything to the left just like so. Now I can set the height to a fixed and increase the height to match the image just like so. And set distribute to space between to push both of these stacks at other end. For the background, I can try a very light gray color and maybe change the variant of this action card to primary. And there you have it. All three concepts ready to choose from. And this here is the best part. Say you liked the first one the best. So you can right click on it and select create web page to create a new web page from this design automatically. And that's it. Now it's a real web design page and you can just publish it and everything just works. No rework at all. Now in here, I can continue to add animations and effects, and that is very easy to do so. For example, I can select all of these here and click here to add an effect. You have different effects to add from. Let's go with appear effect. In the properties, I can set fade in, and entering property, I can set the Y offset so that it fades in from the bottom. And I can also control transition. Let's set it to ease transition like so and increase the time to maybe 0.8 seconds for that smooth and nice and slow effect. Now let's preview this and see it in action. See how the text slides in from the bottom with that smooth transition now. Now we can just copy this effect and apply it to this card as well. Let's try it out. This is looking perfect. Now let's actually do a tablet and phone view for this too. Really simple. Click here to add a tablet breakpoint. In the tablet, it is already looking great. So let's just add a phone breakpoint. Here things are breaking, so we can just adjust some properties to make it fully responsive in the mobile view. For example, select this image frame and set it to distribute to end, and select this content frame and change it to a vertical stack. Align everything to the left and reduce the padding to maybe something like 20 pixels. And now I can change this action card to a smaller variant just for mobile view. Now it's looking great. By the way, did you notice that text sizes of this text became smaller for tablet and mobile view? And that's the power of text styles in Framer. All these texts are using headline text styles I created earlier. If I edit it, here you can see that you can set different font sizes for different breakpoints, large, medium, and small. Now before we preview, let's change this navbar to phone closed variant. Again, this is something that I created earlier to save some time. If you want to learn how to create a responsive navbar, I have a full video on my channel. We are ready to preview, and there you go. This is a fully responsive web page. Now I can continue building more section to this page and finally publish it to a live website. This new workflow where I skip Figma altogether saves me tons of time in rework. Now for all my web design projects, I directly jump into Framer. And as for Figma, well, I still use Figma, but mostly for mobile app designs. I know it's far-fetched, but it would be amazing if I could do mobile apps in Framer too. That would be kind of mind-blowing. Anyways, if you are a web designer and still using Figma for doing designs, then I highly recommend trying out Framer, especially design pages. Link is in the description. And if you use my custom coupon code average, you will get 1 month completely free. Come on, man. What else do you need? A month for free. At least try it out. I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe for more amazing content like this one. Thank you for watching, and like always, see you in the next one.